trail ride weight. Mirrors, all the clevises, boxes, all our normal trailing stuff. Motor's completely bone stock, 32-inch stock tires. We're gonna do a little speed run here, 0 to 60, and see what she gets, just right off the gate. All right, guys, we got the next pieces of the puzzle here. RPM blow-off valve, the version 2. This is a lot nicer design, where the whole top nozzle swivels, so you can put it kind of anywhere you want. That was about the only downfall of the other one, or the old style. This one's completely, you can change whatever you want to change on it. Comes all the tubes. If you want to recirculate it so you don't get that pish, pish, pish noise, whatever you want to call it, the sweet turbo sound noise, you can recirculate it. Can koozie, 10 horsepower worth of stickers, a couple of keychains. And here's the real star of the video, I guess you should say. So there's the intake tube. Obviously you can see it sitting next to the stock one. It's way bigger. Looks way better. You don't have the junk accordion that falls apart. That's the biggest problem with these, is they make them so they kind of fit everything and they move and do what they need to do at the cheapest price. But what happens is these accordions are thinner in the accordion than in the actual plastic itself. So they'll crack in here and then you suck dust right in the motor. Here's the J tube, which again, is pretty much massive compared to the stock one. That goes over behind the coolant bottle. You can really see it over there or not. So this here's the J tube. Again, accordions. And you can see when you push on it, it's pretty flimsy. So we're gonna get rid of that thing and then just block this off, blow it to atmosphere so we get some cool turbo noises. One thing I didn't have in my General was a blow off. And I kind of wished I did. They make them. I just didn't do it. And then we have the big fatty intake, which, as you can see, the end of it's as big as my hand. Look at the size difference in that. And it's just completely massive. Again, junky accordion crap. So let's get underway and install this stuff. I did it one other time. I've used another company's on the last build, and I just, it wasn't bad, but all this stuff was like aluminum, and it just did not, I don't know, I just wasn't super happy with it. It works, but I used RPM on the other Pro XP that I did, and it's just, these are so nice. It's so nice, it's flexible, you get into place. I mean, I added these are red. Obviously, you can get black, or actually they make a gray now, which they didn't make when I first got these. I've been kind of sitting on my hands not doing this for a while, but would match my gray Turbo R. But I'm doing basically like the bumper's red. Front bumper's going to be red. Suspension's obviously red. Tow bars are red. So I opted for red, so I got a little more red back here on the motor. You can't see all of it, but you'll be able to see a fair amount of it. So let's get this baby tore apart. So basically, you're going to take the 440 Torx, take your bed cover off, and then it's just a matter of getting stuff out of the way. So I'll show you once I got some stuff installed, how everything works. I did run Dragy numbers ahead of time. So I will have Dragy numbers. I mean, this is not supposed to add any kind of horsepower. I don't really expect it to add horsepower, I guess. It's not tuned yet. But I do think it's a weird phenomenon that my dad's Pro that's tuned and has all the RPM tubes always collects more dust in the filter box. It doesn't go through the filter, but it's pulling way more air than the other Pros that we ride with or my turbo. like I said, it is tuned, so it's going to pull more air, it's going to have more boost. But I question pretty highly if it's not because of how much more air it can pull through. Obviously, if it can pull more air in here, it's going to pull more into the box. We ride on the same trails, we ride similar. I don't know what else it could be. We've actually been questioning it for a while, and I said, I don't know, when we ride together next time, I'll have my boost tubes and everything on, and if we have similar amounts of dust, we know it's because it's getting that much more airflow inside the box. Nothing wrong with that. Just got to make sure we keep it clean. So here's all it is. Up here, spin that bolt out for your clamp. Back there for your filter, which actually you're going to access from this side right here. Pull it out, and here's kind of where you see the difference. So they squish it to make it fit in there. Junk. This one, not squished. Massive. So we're gonna throw her in there. Just basically, you're gonna have it tip something similar to that. Tighten the clamps down. Call her a day. Okay, the fatty's on. 11 millimeter, loosen that up. You have to pop this sensor out. 11 millimeter up there in the J tube. 11 millimeter down there. The clamp. And this one's probably the worst. You can see it right there. Of course, the camera won't focus though. That one right there is the worst. So we'll get them out of the way and then start installing the new stuff. 25 millimeter Torx takes out the little sensor bolt. Just rubber mounted, just like any other sensor, rubber O-ring. Just kind of wiggle it till it pops out. And then we'll pull the rest of this intake tube out, boost tube. Okay, so popping this off can be a little bit of a beast. So what I do is take a long bar, start at the bottom. I mean, you don't want to crank on it real hard, but right here, you can just pull up, and it'll pop right off. Easy peasy. Can't believe I just said easy peasy. That's the lamest shit ever. Anyway, that's off. Okay, so you see what I did over here? Off the belt box on this. So this back one is kind of a problem child as well. It comes off pretty hard. So I got this bar here. Take this here bar, prop it up against that heat shield, give her a pop. I already popped it loose. It ain't gonna come loose that easy, but it is off. But it's still connected to the recirc on the J-tube. So now I gotta pop the J-tube loose. Probably actually just you rip the band, cut the band off on that. Then this one will be out. Then I just gotta get to that little guy right back there, which is probably the worst one because it's always pointed up into this heat shield. So I'll grab that one and I'll show you what I do there. Okay, we got that intake pipe out of there. I'll show you a little something here. So what I meant by when you pull the band off right there, there's a metal band. Just grab it with a pair of side cutters, break it off. This is interesting to me though. Remember I said these things are kind of flimsy? So I pulled on this, and not in a fashion that you would normally see when it's attached, but not real hard. And it came completely apart. Let me zoom out here. So this thing is just glued together. I thought at least this was one part. It's really hard to get the camera to focus decently, but this is just glued. You can see the glue on it. It's not even one piece. I thought at least this was one piece. It's not. It's glued together. So anybody who knows anything about heat and glue and how well and how long it lasts is going to really appreciate full-on silicone on all the precious motor intake parts. Okay, now you got your back panel, top and bottom. I pulled out both seats because I'm going to do a bunch of stuff back here as far as sound deadening insulation, plugging holes, so on and so forth. But on the back of the J-tube, it's on the other side of your air box here. So your big fatty intake is on that side. Your J-tube is here. I already loosened that clamp. And we got to pull this sensor out. Same 25 Torx. So loosen that up. Same deal. Rubber O-ring. Take it out of there. And then we got to get that guy right there out from underneath that motor plate, or that heat guard, heat shield, whatever we want to call this aluminum guy here. So we'll get that up out of there, and then we'll get the new J-tube in place. So interesting enough, as I'm taking the sensor out, I see this. Extra glue hanging off the edge. I don't know if you can catch it on camera or not, but again, I'm not a fan of glue holding my intake stuff together to keep dust out of my $40,000, $50,000 side-by-side. So we're gonna be pretty happy we got rid of that junk, I think. Okay, so same handy dandy pry bar. Very gently on the rib of the box, in between your boot for the J-tube and the box, slowly push it off. Obviously you can see I have it off already. It's out of the way. I'm gonna try something. I don't know, I haven't really seen anybody do this. Maybe I have, maybe I don't know. I did not do this last time. But anyway, you can see where that clamp is at. That's actually on the turbo, coming off the J-tube. I'm gonna try and pull the J-tube, bend this flexible down and twist it so that clamp is pointing like this instead of like this underneath of that heat shield. And then hopefully I can spin it right off, because I think that was most of the heartburn last time. I don't know, I think I turned the clamps the other way on the other RPM, all the other piping, so I could get it from the backside. Obviously when they're putting it together, I don't know why they would ever put them like that, but the way that thing is pointed like this, it's pretty much impossible. Okay, so this is the other side of the J-tube. Side cutters. Really hard to see what you're doing looking through the camera. Give her a couple twists. Band clamp will come right off. Throw that in the ground. Grab your tube. Disconnect. Push it out of the way for now. And now this should come out of there. We shall see. Okay, so here's what I finally did. So I pulled this down and I tried just twisting it, and it wouldn't go when it was tight. So I took an 11mm wrench, reached my hand up in there, turned it enough that I could finally twist this just a little bit so I can see it straight on. Took my drill, a little extendo action, spun it loose. Now I'll prop it out of there and we'll start installing all the new stuff. A couple tips, like I said, it can be a real bastard. Take the seats out, take the back panels off. Obviously you gotta take the box out. Last time I did it, I pulled this tray out of here, and I don't know, it seemed like more hassle than it was worth because the bolts are up from the underneath. They're just a real prick to get at. You gotta take this off, shield up in the front off. This does not come out of here, if I recall, without like cutting it or bending the shit out of it. So I did not want to do that because it tucks way up underneath there. Like I said, it's bolted on the underside. So unless somebody knows a better way, that's the best way that I've found. Quickest, easiest, saves your knuckles the mostest. Mostest is a word. So let's get the new stuff on. Okay, so everything's out. See the full-on turbo. inlet, outlets, everything's unplugged. So the only thing that's connected right now and tight is the big fatty intake hose. So it's gonna go in like this. You're gonna reconnect this hose, this barb fitting, to the hose that comes out from your bottom of your engine. It's right there. If you're gonna recirculate, you're gonna take this fitting out and reconnect it up to your intake tube, just the way it was from stock. So then you will not get that whooshing sound when you let off the gas. That's where your sensor is going to go, just like it did before. New bolt. So we'll get this installed, and then we'll put on the intake tube and the blow-off valve. All right, ladies and gents, finished product. This clamp's tight. This is tight. Here's your blow off right here. You can turn it any direction. And now the actual, the boost feed line, this little guy here, you can spin that at 360 on the end of that blow off. So now you can pretty much face it any which way you want, which is pretty slick. That was my only gripe about the old style, is with this cover being like this, you pretty much had to have it a certain way for it to go. So J tube is in, the big fatty's in. I'll kind of show you what it looks like from over here. And I am not recirculating, so I'm going to blow it off the atmosphere. Trying to think if there's anything else. I thought there was something else I was going to point out. I do put the filter and the outerwears on. Whatever, I know it only blows out, and they've proven it a million times. But I figure if nothing else, it calms the noise just a little bit. I don't like the hissing sound that it makes when you're not on boost. The rest of it, I really enjoy the way it sounds when it blows off. So, I will go start her up and see what it sounds like and give you guys a little preview of that. Alright guys, we're going to try it again. It actually spun that time. It's quite a bit colder out here, I think, than the last time. So we'll try it again here.